Here's how AI is saving lives by riding along with ambulances. It's not uncommon for an ambulance to have to transport a patient to a hospital without knowing what kind of condition they'll arrive in. And it's those patients who are the most challenging for doctors to treat. They have to prepare for any possibility and hope for the best. But what if the possibilities could be predicted? A new algorithm has been developed that uses artificial intelligence to look into the future, or at least about 15 minutes down the line. This could help medical professionals allocate resources more efficiently, potentially saving lives in the process. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, and the San Francisco Fire Department have created a program that uses machine learning to predict a patient's needs while en route to a hospital. It was trained on data from over 24,000 emergency calls and looked at things like the patient's symptoms, the time of day, and the location of the emergency call. The algorithm can then use this information to predict the likelihood of the patient having certain conditions, such as cardiac arrest, stroke, or respiratory failure. If they do have one of these conditions, the algorithm can also estimate how long it will take before those symptoms start showing up. For example, let's say that we have two ambulances. Ambulance A is responding to a call from a person who is having chest pains. Ambulance B is responding to a call from a person who is having difficulty breathing. Both patients are being transported to the same hospital. Using the algorithm, Ambulance A would be prioritized because chest pain is a more serious symptom than difficulty breathing. That means that Ambulance A would get there first and be able to provide treatment sooner, which could ultimately save the patient's life. The algorithm has been shown to accurately predict the likelihood of a patient having a cardiac arrest, stroke, or respiratory failure during transport. It's also been shown to be effective at prioritizing patients based on the severity of their symptoms. In one study, the algorithm was used to analyze data from 911 calls in San Francisco. It was able to correctly identify patients who had a cardiac arrest 78% of the time, and correctly identified patients who had a stroke 86% of the time. So how does this technology work? Well, it all starts with the data. The algorithm was trained on a massive data set of over 24,000 emergency calls in San Francisco. This data included information about the patient's symptoms, the time of day, and the location of the emergency call. This training data allowed the algorithm to learn the relationship between these factors and the likelihood of a patient having a cardiac arrest, stroke, or respiratory failure during transport. Once the algorithm has been trained, it can start analyzing new data. When an emergency call comes in, information about the patient's symptoms is collected and analyzed by the algorithm. It then uses this information to calculate the likelihood of the patient having a cardiac arrest, stroke, or respiratory failure during transport. If the risk is high enough, the algorithm will alert emergency personnel so they can take the appropriate steps. The potential benefits of this technology are huge. In many cities, ambulances are often dispatched to low-acuity calls, meaning that they spend a lot of time and resources responding to calls that are not very serious. This takes them away from patients who really need them. By using this algorithm to prioritize calls, emergency services can focus on the patients who are most in need, potentially saving lives in the process. This technology is still in the early stages of development, but it has the potential to revolutionize the way that emergency services are delivered. As the algorithm is exposed to more data, it will become more accurate and effective at predicting the likelihood of a patient having a cardiac arrest, stroke, or respiratory failure during transport. This will allow emergency personnel to make better decisions about how to allocate their resources, ultimately saving lives in the process. Now let's move on to our next story. A teenager has been arrested after he allegedly shot his classmate with a BB gun. The victim was airlifted to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. According to the police, the suspect and victim were involved in a fight on social media before the shooting. The motive for the shooting is still under investigation, but detectives believe that the fight on social media may have played a role. The shooting happened around 3:30 p.m. on Monday afternoon at STEM School Highlands Ranch. The suspect and victim were 16-year-old students at the school. The suspect allegedly shot the victim once in the head with a BB gun. The victim was airlifted to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No other students were injured in the shooting. Suspect was taken into custody shortly after the shooting. He is facing charges of assault in the first degree, possession of a weapon, and prohibited use of weapons. The weapon in this case was a BB gun. However, BB guns are considered to be prohibited weapons under Colorado law. This is because they can cause serious injury or even death. And when used in a threatening or aggressive manner, they can have the same impact as a firearm. In a statement released after the shooting, the school district said that the school was on lockdown for about 30 minutes following the incident. Parents were notified of the lockdown and the reason for it. Extra police officers were also on campus after the lockdown was lifted. The school district said that the shooting was an isolated incident and that there is no ongoing threat to the campus community. Despite the seriousness of the charges against him, the suspect is only 16 years old. This means that he will be tried as a juvenile. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison. This shooting is just the latest in a string of incidents at schools across the country. In recent months, there have been several high-profile shootings at schools. This has led to renewed calls for gun control measures to be put in place. However, despite the public outcry, it is unlikely that anything will be done. This is because the National Rifle Association is a powerful lobbying group that has a lot of influence over politicians. The NRA has already vowed to fight back against any efforts to restrict gun rights on school property. This incident is tragic, and there is no excuse for it happening. Schools should be safe places where everyone feels comfortable and can learn without fear. This shooting is a reminder of the gun violence epidemic in America. We need to come together as a country and find a solution to this problem. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you think that the suspect should be tried as an adult? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and stay up to date with all of our latest videos. Thanks for watching. As a nation, we've become too dependent on fossil fuels, and it's hurting us in more ways than one. It's causing climate change, air pollution, and putting our national security at risk. But what if I told you that there's a way we can power our lives without these problems? It's actually possible thanks to renewable energy. With every passing day, advancements in green tech are making our lives easier. From solar panels that harvest energy from the sun to wind turbines that convert wind energy into electricity, the possibilities are endless. But sometimes even with these amazing inventions, we need a little push to adopt them on a larger scale. That's where Orbion comes in. They're a company that provides businesses and governments with turnkey solar solutions. This means that they take care of everything from design and installation to operation and maintenance. So if you're interested in going solar, Orbion is the company to talk to. Not only does Orbion help businesses and governments go solar, but they also help homeowners. Their residential solar solutions are designed to fit the unique needs of each customer. Whether you want to power your entire home or just supplement your energy needs, Orbion can help you do it affordably and efficiently. What's more, Orbion is committed to sustainability. They believe in reducing their carbon footprint and making a positive impact on the environment. They use eco-friendly materials and processes whenever possible, and they are constantly looking for ways to improve their sustainability performance. The best part about Orbion is that they're results-driven. They understand that their clients want results, not promises. That's why they use cutting-edge technology and proven methods to ensure that their clients get the best possible results. If you're ready to join the clean energy movement, then it's time to contact Orbion. You'll be glad you did.